Ghostly Reminiscence, Uncovering Sanctuary Hill's Secrets. The Sanctuary Hills institution stood tall on the desolate mountain, its imposing facade shrouded in mist. Within its dimly lit dormitory, 3 young boys shared a room. Adam, the adventurous dreamer, had a fascination for the unknown. Harry, the skeptic with a mischievous grin, often challenged Adam's wild tales. And Danny, the curious observer, found himself caught between his friends' conflicting beliefs. One evening, as the cold wind whistled through the cracks in the old building, the boys gathered around a flickering lantern. They spoke in hushed tones, sharing legends they had heard about the woods that loomed ominously beside the school. Adam's eyes glimmered with excitement as he recounted the tale of the headless boy, whose restless spirit wandered the woods, searching for his lost head. "They say he's doomed to roam the forest, forever seeking the truth of his tragic end," he said, his voice echoing through the dimly lit room. Harry chuckled, trying to lighten the mood. "Come on, mate, you don't really believe that stuff, do you?" he teased. Danny chimed in, a hint of uncertainty in his voice. "Well, you never know. People say strange things happen up there." As the night wore on, their laughter subsided, and an uneasy silence settled in. The creaking floorboards and the distant howling wind outside added an unsettling ambience to the room. Unable to shake off the eerie feeling, Adam finally admitted, "Okay, maybe I'm a little spooked." Harry and Danny exchanged knowing glances, understanding that it was time to put their differences aside and support their friend. They decided to join forces, planning to explore the woods the next day to prove once and for all that the legend was nothing more than a myth. As the night progressed, they comforted one another with friendly banter and reassuring pats on the back. Their camaraderie grew stronger, and they found solace in the presence of their newfound friends. With the lantern casting flickering shadows on the walls, the trio made a pact to face whatever awaited them in the woods, together. As they drifted off to sleep, the first seeds of their lifelong friendship were firmly planted, rooted in a shared adventure and a bond forged in the face of fear and the unknown. Little did they know that their exploration into the woods the following day would mark the beginning of a spine-chilling journey, unveiling secrets and mysteries that would forever change their lives. The dormitory, once a sanctuary, would soon become the stage for a haunting legend that none of them could have ever imagined. The next day arrived with a crisp autumn breeze as Adam, Harry, and Danny set out to explore the woods that loomed ominously beside the Sanctuary Hills institution. The sun was slowly descending, casting elongated shadows across the trees. The boys' laughter and excitement from the previous night had been replaced with a sense of trepidation. As they ventured deeper into the woods, a palpable tension hung in the air. The crunching of leaves beneath their feet echoed eerily through the silent forest. Adam tried to maintain his composure, leading the way with a mixture of curiosity and caution. "Are you sure this is a good idea?" Danny asked, glancing nervously at the dense foliage around them. Harry shrugged, trying to appear nonchalant. "It's just a bunch of old stories. There's nothing to be afraid of." But the further they went, the more uneasy they felt. The forest seemed to swallow them whole, engulfing them in an unsettling stillness. Suddenly, Adam spotted a peculiar-looking tree, its bark gnarled and twisted. "Look at that tree," he said, his voice hushed. As they approached, they noticed strange markings etched into the trunk. It bore a faint resemblance to a human figure, its head seemingly severed from its body. "This must be where the legend started," Adam mused, tracing his finger along the markings. A rustling sound nearby made them jump, and their eyes darted in the direction of the noise. A gust of wind swept through the forest, and Danny clutched his jacket tighter, his nerves on edge. "I'm telling you, "There's something not right about this place," Danny whispered, his voice trembling. Before Harry could respond, a sudden chill enveloped them, and the once gentle breeze turned into a cold gust. The lantern flickered, casting eerie shadows on the trees around them. "Did you feel that?" Harry asked, his skepticism fading. As they continued deeper into the woods, they couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. The forest seemed to come alive with whispers and distant rustling. "Just our imagination playing tricks on us," Adam said, trying to sound confident. But as the night fell, the woods grew darker, and an unnerving silence descended upon them. Their footsteps quickened, and their breaths came out in shallow gasps. Then, in the distance, a figure appeared, moving among the trees. It was a shadowy silhouette, headless, just like the legend described. "Look! There it is!" Danny exclaimed, his voice a mixture of fear and disbelief. As the figure drew closer, they could make out a pale face, its features obscured in darkness. Panic surged through their veins, and they stumbled backward, trying to put distance between themselves and the apparition. In a sudden burst of courage, Adam yelled, "Who are you? What do you want?" The headless figure seemed to pause, as if contemplating their question. And then, in a haunting voice that seemed to echo from beyond the grave, it spoke. "I seek my head, help me find it." With those chilling words, the boys' hearts pounded in their chests, and the woods seemed to close in around them. The legend of the headless boy had come alive before their very eyes, and there was no denying the malevolent force that now surrounded them. In the darkness of the eerie night, they realized they were not alone, and the haunting had only just begun. As the chilling encounter with the headless figure lingered in their minds, Adam, Harry, and Danny returned to the Sanctuary Hills institution, shaken to their core. The dormitory, once a place of comfort, now felt haunted by an unsettling presence. Their room had an eerie ambience that evening, with shadows dancing on the walls as the lantern flickered. The events of the day had left the boys on edge, each grappling with their own thoughts and fears. "I can't believe what we saw," Danny whispered, his eyes wide with disbelief. "It was probably just a prank," Harry suggested, trying to find a rational explanation. Adam shook his head. "No, it felt real, Harry. There was something supernatural about it." As the night wore on, strange occurrences began to unfold within the dormitory. The lantern's flame flickered erratically, and the air seemed to carry an unusual heaviness. Footsteps echoed in the hallway outside, but when they investigated, there was no one to be found. A cold draft swept through the room, causing goosebumps to rise on their skin. "It's just the wind," Harry said, attempting to dismiss the unsettling events. But deep down, they all knew that something was amiss. The legends of the headless boy had become more than just stories, they had become a haunting reality. The boys tried to distract themselves with games and jokes, but the unease in the room persisted. Adam, always the inquisitive one, decided to research the history of the institution and the surrounding woods. In the dusty library, he found old journals and accounts of past students who had experienced eerie encounters. One story stood out, a tale of a boy who had disappeared in the woods many years ago, his body later found decapitated. "This must be the boy from the legend," Adam said, sharing his findings with his friends. As they read through the accounts, the haunting reality of the headless boy's tragic past sank in. They felt a sense of connection to the boy, as if his restless spirit was reaching out to them. The strange events in the dormitory escalated, with doors creaking open on their own and faint whispers echoing through the halls. The boys couldn't ignore the undeniable presence that seemed to envelop the entire institution. One night, as they huddled together, seeking solace in their friendship, a chilling voice echoed through the dormitory, sending shivers down their spines. "I seek my head, help me find it." The ghostly plea seemed to reverberate in the room, its origin impossible to discern. Fear gripped them, and they clung to each other, seeking comfort in their unity. The legend had come to life, and the boys found themselves at the center of an unexplained haunting. As the headless boy's spirit made its presence known, they couldn't help but wonder if there was a way to set him free from his torment. In the face of the unknown, their bond grew stronger, becoming a source of strength and courage. With each passing night, they knew they had to confront the malevolent spirit and uncover the truth behind the haunting to find a way to bring peace to the restless soul. The dormitory that was once their sanctuary had become the stage for an eerie mystery they were determined to solve together. The night weighed heavily upon the Sanctuary Hills institution as Adam, Harry, and Danny prepared for another unsettling encounter with the headless boy's spirit. Their nerves were on edge, and a sense of anticipation filled the dormitory. As the clock struck midnight, an eerie stillness settled over the hostel. Shadows danced on the walls, cast by the dim moonlight seeping through the curtained windows. The air crackled with an electric energy, thick with the presence of the supernatural. With trepidation, the boys ventured into the dimly lit hallway, their lantern casting a feeble glow. Every creak and whisper amplified their unease, making their hearts race in their chests. As they moved cautiously through the corridors, a chilling breeze swept through, extinguishing the lantern's flame. Darkness engulfed them, save for the dim moonlight filtering through the windows. Silent, they stood in the blackness, their breaths shallow and uncertain. It was in that moment that a spectral figure materialized before them, its headless form hauntingly familiar. The headless boy stood before them, his ethereal presence sending shivers down their spines. His pale visage glowed eerily in the darkness, an otherworldly aura surrounding him. "I seek my head, help me find it," the boy's voice resonated through the dormitory, filled with a mix of longing and anguish. Adam, Harry, and Danny exchanged determined glances. They understood that their collective courage and resolve were the only things that could break the cycle of the boy's torment. "We will help you," Adam spoke with unwavering conviction, his voice steady despite the tremors coursing through his body. The headless boy's spirit flickered, his translucent form pulsating with an ethereal light. It was as if their commitment to aid him had ignited a spark of hope within his spectral existence. In unison, the boys retraced their steps, guided by a hidden force that drew them deeper into the hostel. They ventured into a forgotten basement, a place steeped in darkness and mystery. There, they discovered a hidden compartment concealed behind a crumbling brick wall. As they pried open the compartment, their eyes widened in astonishment. Nestled within was the headless boy's missing head, a relic from his tragic fate. With trembling hands, Adam gently placed the severed head atop the boy's ethereal form. A blinding light enveloped them, casting long shadows that danced upon the walls. In that moment, a surge of energy surged through the hostel, dispersing the darkness that had plagued its halls. The headless boy's spirit began to dissipate, a serene expression replacing the anguish that had etched his face for so long. The dormitory returned to a tranquil stillness, devoid of the malevolent presence that had plagued it. Adam, Harry, and Danny stood in awe, their hearts filled with a bittersweet mix of relief and sorrow. As the first rays of dawn painted the sky, a sense of closure washed over them. The headless boy had finally found his peace, his spirit liberated from the eternal torment that had bound him. In the wake of their encounter with the supernatural, the boys realized that their friendship had grown immeasurably stronger. They had faced the darkest of fears and emerged triumphant, forever bound by the shared experience and the indelible mark it had left upon their souls. With renewed hope and a sense of unity, they resolved to cherish their friendship and treasure the memories forged amidst the ghostly trials of Sanctuary Hills Institution. Though the haunting may be over, their bond would endure, a testament to their bravery and resilience in the face of the unknown. In the aftermath of the Headless Boy's departure, a newfound sense of tranquility settled over the Sanctuary Hills Institution. Yet, Adam, Harry, and Danny couldn't shake the lingering questions that the haunting had brought to light. Determined to understand the truth, they embarked on a quest to uncover the secrets hidden within the hostel's history. Their investigation led them to the dusty archives of the institution, where they pored over old journals and faded records. As they delved deeper into the past, a chilling tale emerged, one that intertwined tragedy and mystery. One entry, dated decades ago, spoke of a boy named Thomas, who had vanished without a trace. Rumors swirled that he had ventured into the woods, never to return. Adam, Harry, and Danny couldn't help but draw parallels between Thomas's tale and the legend of the Headless Boy. "It has to be the same boy," Danny said, his eyes wide with realization. "But how did he lose his head?" Harry wondered aloud, his brow furrowed with curiosity. As they continued their research, they discovered accounts of the hostel's murky history, stories of unexplained disappearances and sightings of ghostly figures. An elderly caretaker, who had served the institution for decades, shared a haunting tale of the night he encountered the Headless Boy. "He appeared to me, his head cradled in his arms," the caretaker recounted, his voice trembling with the memory. "He kept repeating that he couldn't find his way home." The boys listened intently, captivated by the eerie tale. They realized that the Headless Boy's haunting had transcended generations, leaving a legacy of fear and mystery. Their quest for answers took them to the outskirts of the woods, where they stumbled upon a forgotten gravesite. Among the weathered headstones, they found one bearing the name Thomas Johnson, the date of death matching that of the boy in the archives. "It's him," Adam whispered, his heart heavy with sorrow for the tragic fate that had befallen Thomas. Yet, as they stood at the gravesite, an inexplicable force seemed to surround them. A faint presence, like a gentle breeze, enveloped them, and they felt as if they were not alone. "Thomas," Harry called out, his voice filled with empathy. "We helped you find your head. Are you at peace now?" The air seemed to shimmer for a moment before everything fell silent. And then, in the rustling of leaves, a soft voice whispered, "Thank you." A sense of closure washed over them, and they knew that Thomas's spirit had found solace at last. They had not only put an end to the haunting but also granted him the peace he had sought for so long. As they returned to the hostel, they couldn't help but reflect on the profound journey they had undertaken. The dormitory that had once been plagued by fear and mystery was now a place of peace and serenity. Adam, Harry, and Danny realized that their friendship had transcended the boundaries of the ordinary. Through their shared courage and resilience, they had not only faced a malevolent spirit but also helped a lost soul find its way home. As they lay in their beds that night, the faint echoes of the Headless Boy's spirit seemed to linger in the air. Yet, instead of fear, they felt a sense of gratitude for the friendship they had forged and the experiences that had bound them together forever. In the stillness of the dormitory, they knew that they were not just friends but kindred spirits, forever united by the ghostly mysteries of Sanctuary Hills Institution. In the days that followed the encounter with Thomas's spirit, Adam, Harry, and Danny couldn't shake the feeling that their journey was far from over. The Headless Boy's haunting had ceased, but there was an unspoken understanding that there was more to the story. Late one evening, as the moon hung low in the sky, the boys gathered in their room, surrounded by the soft glow of candlelight. They pored over the journals and research they had compiled, searching for clues to the hostel's dark past. "There must be something we're missing," Adam said, his brow furrowed in deep thought. Harry nodded, his eyes scanning the pages. "We've helped Thomas find his head, but why was he haunting the hostel in the first place?" Danny interjected, "And what about the other disappearances? Is there a connection?" Their questions remained unanswered, and the hostel seemed to hold its secrets tightly. But as they continued to search for answers, they stumbled upon an old map of the woods, adorned with mysterious symbols and markings. "There's something about this map," Harry said, his finger tracing the intricate lines. "It's more than just a guide to the woods." Adam's eyes widened as a realization dawned upon him. What if these symbols are linked to something supernatural? Maybe they hold the key to unraveling the hostel's mysteries. With newfound determination, they decided to venture back into the woods, following the cryptic symbols marked on the map. The forest welcomed them with a familiar sense of trepidation, but they pressed on, driven by their thirst for answers. As they followed the trail, they encountered eerie phenomena, a chorus of disembodied whispers and flickering lights that seemed to dance in the shadows. It was as if the hostel's secrets were trying to speak to them through the very fabric of the woods. The symbols on the map led them to an ancient oak tree, its gnarled roots seemingly reaching into the depths of the earth. A solemn aura surrounded the tree, as if it held the wisdom of ages past. Adam, Harry, and Danny exchanged knowing glances, silently agreeing that they had arrived at the heart of the mystery. They gathered around the tree, and as they did, a subtle vibration coursed through the ground. In unison, they placed their hands on the trunk of the oak tree, a wave of energy passing through their bodies. Visions flashed before their eyes, a tapestry of memories and emotions that spanned centuries. They witnessed the tragic fate of the hostel's past inhabitants, how they had fallen victim to a malevolent force that fed on their fear and anguish. The headless boy's haunting was merely a manifestation of a more profound darkness that lurked within the woods. "We have to break this cycle," Danny said, his voice resolute. With a shared determination, they sought to confront the malevolent force that had plagued the hostel for so long. Guided by the symbols on the map and the visions from the tree, they performed a ritual, invoking a power greater than themselves. A brilliant light enveloped the forest, banishing the shadows that had clung to its depths. The malevolent force recoiled, its hold on the hostel weakening with each passing moment. In the final surge of energy, they felt a profound shift, the darkness dissipating, leaving behind an aura of newfound serenity. The haunting had been vanquished, and the hostel was finally free from its malevolent grip. As they returned to the hostel, they couldn't help but marvel at the transformation. The dormitory that had once been shrouded in fear was now a sanctuary of peace and hope. Adam, Harry, and Danny knew that they had not only uncovered the hostel's dark secrets but also liberated it from the shadows of its past. Their shared journey had forged a bond that transcended the ordinary, uniting them as warriors of light against the forces of darkness. As they lay in their beds that night, a sense of contentment washed over them. The journey had been arduous, but their friendship had grown stronger in the face of the unknown. With a renewed sense of unity, they knew that they would face whatever the future held, hand in hand, as kindred spirits forever bound by the ghostly mysteries they had unraveled together. In the days that followed their confrontation with the malevolent force in the woods, the Sanctuary Hills institution underwent a profound transformation. The once haunted dormitory now brimmed with a newfound sense of serenity, as if the very walls exhaled a sigh of relief. Adam, Harry, and Danny became local legends, the brave souls who had unraveled the mysteries that had plagued the institution for generations. Their courage and unwavering friendship had left an indelible mark on the hostel and its inhabitants. As word spread, the headmaster himself acknowledged their bravery, commending them for dispelling the malevolent force that had long haunted the institution. "We owe you a debt of gratitude," the headmaster said, his eyes filled with admiration. "You have lifted a dark shadow from these halls and brought peace to the spirits that once roamed here." In the following weeks, the boys were met with warm smiles and gratitude from their fellow students. No longer was the hostel a place of fear, it was now a sanctuary of friendship and camaraderie. As they reveled in their newfound status, they remained grounded in the memories of their shared journey. Their bond had been tested and strengthened, and they knew that their friendship was a force to be reckoned with. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden glow over the institution, Adam, Harry, and Danny gathered by the ancient oak tree, the very spot where their quest had begun. "We did it," Harry said, a proud grin on his face. "It wouldn't have been possible without each other," Danny added, looking at his friends with deep affection. Adam nodded, his eyes gleaming with gratitude. "We found courage in each other, and together, we conquered the darkness." In that moment, they knew that their shared journey had come full circle. The malevolent force had been vanquished, the mysteries unraveled, and the headless boy's spirit had found peace. As they stood beneath the oak tree, a sense of closure washed over them. They knew that their friendship had transcended the ordinary, becoming a bond that could withstand anything life threw their way. With the haunting behind them, the boys approached their final days at the Sanctuary Hills institution. Though they would soon part ways, their friendship would endure, a testament to the extraordinary journey they had undertaken. On the day of their departure, the institution held a farewell ceremony in their honor. Students and staff alike gathered to bid them farewell, their hearts filled with gratitude and admiration. Adam, Harry, and Danny stood side by side, their spirits intertwined like the branches of the ancient oak tree. They were no longer just friends, they were kindred spirits who had shared an extraordinary adventure. As they bid their farewells and embraced their fellow students, they knew that the haunting of Sanctuary Hills Institution had left a lasting legacy, a story of friendship, courage, and the triumph of light over darkness. In the years that followed, their paths diverged, leading them to different corners of the world. But no matter the distance, the bond they had forged amidst the ghostly mysteries would forever be etched in their hearts. And so, the tale of Adam, Harry, and Danny, warriors of light and conquerors of darkness, came to an end. But the echo of their bravery, friendship, and the end of the haunting would linger in the halls of the Sanctuary Hills Institution for generations to come, a testament to the power of unity and the enduring spirit of true friendship. Years passed, and the memories of the haunting at the Sanctuary Hills Institution remained etched in the hearts of Adam, Harry, and Danny. Their lives had taken different paths, but the bond they had forged during their shared adventure remained unbreakable. One summer, fate intervened, bringing the three friends back to their alma mater for a special occasion, the unveiling of a memorial dedicated to their bravery. The hostel had organized a reunion, inviting former students, staff, and residents of the nearby town to celebrate the triumph of light over darkness. As Adam, Harry, and Danny walked through the familiar halls of the institution, nostalgia washed over them. The once haunted dormitory was now a place of warmth and laughter, where students thrived in an environment of camaraderie. In the evening, under the fading sun, they gathered at the oak tree, the symbol of their extraordinary journey. The memorial stood tall beside it, commemorating their courage and friendship. A crowd of familiar faces and curious onlookers assembled, eager to hear the story of the legendary trio. Adam stepped forward, his voice steady with emotion as he recounted their adventure, the haunting, the mysteries, and the bond that had carried them through the darkness. Harry followed, infusing his storytelling with humor and charm, painting a vivid picture of the friendship that had withstood the test of time. Lastly, Danny shared his heartfelt gratitude for the people who had rallied behind them and for the experiences that had shaped them into the kindred spirits they were today. As the applause and cheers filled the air, a sense of unity enveloped them, reaffirming the enduring impact of their journey. The headmaster himself approached the three friends, shaking their hands with admiration and pride. "You brought something truly remarkable to this institution," the headmaster said, his voice filled with gratitude. "Your courage and friendship have left an indelible mark, inspiring generations to come." That night, as they sat together beneath the ancient oak tree, the trio reminisced about their adventure, the fear, the triumphs, and the unbreakable bond that had carried them through it all. "We couldn't have done it without each other," Adam said, raising his glass in a toast. "Here's to the kindred spirits we became that night," Harry added, clinking his glass against Adam's. Danny smiled, his eyes glimmering with affection. "To the hostel that was once haunted and is now filled with warmth and friendship." As they laughed and shared stories late into the night, they realized that the haunting had been a catalyst for their friendship, shaping them into the people they had become. With the reunion coming to a close, the three friends exchanged heartfelt goodbyes, knowing that their bond would endure, no matter the distance or time that separated them. As they walked away from the Sanctuary Hills institution, a sense of contentment washed over them. The haunting had been vanquished, but the legacy of their adventure and friendship would live on, forever etched in the hearts of those who had witnessed the triumph of light over darkness. And so, the tale of Adam, Harry, and Danny, the warriors of light and kindred spirits, continued to inspire generations, a reminder that true friendship and courage could conquer even the most haunting of mysteries. Years had passed since the fateful reunion at the Sanctuary Hills institution, and the memories of the haunting had become a cherished part of local folklore. Adam, Harry, and Danny had pursued their individual paths, but the bond they shared remained unbroken. One autumn, a letter arrived, a cryptic message scrawled on aged parchment, sealed with a wax emblem of an ancient oak tree. It bore no name or address, but the trio recognized the unique symbol that had once united them. Intrigued and curious, they decided to meet at the institution, their shared memories drawing them back to the place where it all began. As they entered the now familiar dormitory, they were surprised to find that the hostel had taken on an air of mystique. Candles flickered in the hallways, casting a warm glow that contrasted with the autumn chill. "I wonder who sent the letter," Danny mused, his eyes scanning the walls adorned with symbols and artwork reminiscent of their adventure. Adam shrugged, a smile playing on his lips. "Maybe it's a former student who heard our story and wanted to pay tribute." Harry's gaze was drawn to a tapestry depicting the ancient oak tree, their symbol of friendship and courage. "Whatever it is, I have a feeling this reunion will be just as extraordinary as our first." As they explored the hostel, they discovered that the letter had garnered attention from former students and staff. Whispers of a ghostly presence had returned, though not of the malevolent kind they had once encountered. Intrigued, they followed the rumors to the woods, where a crowd had gathered, their eyes wide with wonder and anticipation. Amidst the ancient trees, a spectral figure emerged, its form ethereal and luminous. It was the headless boy, but this time, there was no hint of malevolence. Instead, a gentle aura surrounded him, exuding a sense of peace and serenity. "I seek my friends," the headless boy spoke, his voice soft yet hauntingly familiar. Adam, Harry, and Danny exchanged glances, their hearts racing with a mix of nostalgia and astonishment. It was as if their adventures had forged a connection that transcended time and space. With a sense of awe, they stepped forward, and the headless boy turned his spectral gaze towards them. In that moment, they knew that this was no ordinary haunting, It was a reunion of kindred spirits. "We're here," Danny said, his voice tinged with emotion. The headless boy seemed to smile, and an otherworldly light enveloped them, binding their souls in a timeless embrace. As the sun set on the horizon, the crowd watched in hushed silence as the headless boy's spirit dissipated, leaving behind a sense of closure and peace. From that day on, whispers of the haunting at Sanctuary Hills Institution took on a new meaning. It was no longer a tale of fear, but a story of friendship and courage, of three kindred spirits who had forged a bond that transcended life and death. Adam, Harry, and Danny knew that the hostel would forever hold a special place in their hearts, a place where the ordinary had become extraordinary, where darkness had been replaced by light, and where the mysteries of the past had been unveiled by the strength of their friendship. As they bid their farewells and walked away from the institution, they knew that their journey had come full circle. The haunting that had once drawn them together had now united them with a spectral friend, proving that the bonds of friendship could transcend even the boundaries of life and death. And so, the tale of Adam, Harry, and Danny, a story of friendship, courage, and the triumph of light over darkness, lived on, etched in the annals of local folklore, a testament to the enduring power of kindred spirits and the eternal embrace of the unknown.